Welcome back to another episode of What in the Ads is Going On. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the digital gal, and guess what? Because you're here catching the replay, you get the super secret keyword because we like to change it up. So guess who has a new shipment of keychains? Whoop. There we go. Let's get that focused. Yeah, that's right. I've got keychains with your name on it. So if you want to get one of these sent to you, because why not? These things are fun. There's a new super secret keyword. Bet you can't guess it. I'll give you 1 minute to guess it. Not a minute. I'll give you 10 seconds to guess it. Guess what the super secret keyword is? Hint. Super secret keyword is keychain. So you can go ahead and you can type the word keychain on any of the Digital Gals posts. This can't be on YouTube because I'm broadcasting thanks to the power of Restream. I'm live over on YouTube. I'm live over in a whole bunch of different Facebook groups, but you have to head on over to the Digital Gals Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thedigitalgal. And then you can type on this broadcast, whether you're here, on the replay, on this post, on pretty much any post, on the Digital Gals Facebook page, the word keychain. And then you will be prompted for your mailing address. And I'm actually going to go and take this and put it into a cute little envelope with your name on it and a little actual stamp, a real one, and send that off in the mail. And I don't care if you are in Canada, if you're in the United States, if you are in South Africa, if you're in Australia, if you are, actually tell me where you are tuning in from, because I can see we've got the live viewers are starting to trickle on. So shh. Tell them about the super secret keyword. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay, we're going to be talking about some Facebook ads hacks. And these are just this is kind of like these little catch-all things that pop up when it comes to helping people improve their Facebook ads. So I see a lot of people sort of emulate, or they'll repeat what they see their competitors doing. They see one ad, they see one version of it, and they want to go over and run over to their own Facebook ads account, create that same ad, and go for it. Well, tell you what, there's more than one way to arrive at a very positive result, and there's more than one way to test and dig in. You're going to realize that testing seems to be the key to this entire broadcast. Testing, it really all comes down to testing. That's pretty much my big secret right there. There you go. You got the whole thing. You don't need anything else from me. But ultimately, there are a couple little hacks and tricks that you can do to focus on when it comes to trying to squeeze out better results out of your Facebook ads and trying to repeat what your competitor is doing, trying to repeat the same thing you've done over and over and over. It's probably not working. So I've got a few hacks for you, and I will just tell you, I'm actually just going to rattle them off right now before we dig into them. And then you can decide if you want to stick it out for the rest of the broadcast, hang out with me. But essentially, those hacks are going to be, one of them, carving off 10% of your marketing budget that you're putting into Facebook ads and use it for testing. Doing all these cool things we're going to be talking about. Hack number 2, organic is your crystal ball. Organic means content that you're putting out on your Facebook page, on your Facebook business page, that isn't an advertisement, and seeing how well that's performing, and then using that as your crystal ball to inform your ads content. We'll park that one. We're going to go over all of these in detail. And then objectives. Not all objectives are the same. You get to choose an objective when you create an ad. There are lots of objectives to choose from, and by default, you'll probably choose traffic or you'll choose conversions. But there's a lot of value in testing other objectives to get us to the same destination. So that's another one. And then we have the text that falls above the fold. I know, super simple, but the hacks that you can do to get that text that happens above the fold, we'll talk about what that is to perform a little bit better for you. And then tailoring your creative by placement. There you go. Those are all the hacks. I'm glad that you came. Thanks for coming out, and my job here is done. Ciao. Kidding. All right, let's start with a story. We've got Lindy is here from not so sunny Florida. You know what? I will take the not so sunny because I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and sunny, not funny. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and we've been under that heat dome. It finally broke yesterday, and I'm still suffering a little bit from the heat from the weekend. I didn't drink enough water because I'm not programmed to know how to handle that volume of heat. So I don't think about, hydrating properly or keeping your windows closed and not letting the sun in, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, by the end of the weekend, I wasn't feeling so good, and mistakes were made. and now I know better. So y'all are hotter than us right now. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know the conversions, but we were around 40 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 108 Fahrenheit. I think that's somewhere in that realm. But we're just not built for it. Our infrastructure here isn't built for it. We don't have air conditioning in all the different buildings and places by default. A lot of people have cars that don't even have AC, and it was pretty rough. It was rough, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so let me jump in. I've got a screen thing for you here. Let me just put this one up. So I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, and it's going to wrap. This will make sense momentarily here. So let me tell you a story of when we're talking about not all objectives are the same. When you go to create your Facebook ad, you can choose an objective, and that objective is what is the end goal. If I pull that back up again, you can see, okay, so this is an example of 3 different types of objectives that you could be going after. So you can use a traffic objective. So ultimately you want to get clicks onto your website, people going to your website or your landing page or your external destination that is not Facebook. That's what traffic is. You're sending people somewhere. And then there's messages. That's an objective. So if you want an ultimate goal of more people messaging your Facebook page, messages is what you would use. And hot tip, that's what we use for messenger marketing chatbots. And then we have leads. If you want to get leads from Facebook, that's another objective. There's many more objectives. In fact, I will show you some of those objectives right now. Let me pull that down. Let me hop over here and let me throw on the screen share. So here you can see these are some of the objectives, different objectives you can have. Things like brand awareness and reach, traffic engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, messages, conversions, catalog sales, and store traffic. Haha! Lots of objectives to choose from. Not all of them are built the same. So let me pop back over here. Let me pull this little lovely thing back up. And so I don't want to call it a mistake. It's not a mistake, but one of the opportunities, one of these hacks that you can be using to try and get better results from your Facebook ads is looking at a scenario like this. If you have different objectives you get to use, let's approach your ads with thinking outside of the box. So if I have people that I want to get to a landing page to fill out their information so I can capture their information and get them into my program or get them to sign up for my webinar. Let's use a webinar sign up as an example. So if I want to get them to sign up for my webinar, I go in and make a landing page and send all of the traffic from Facebook over to my landing page and hopefully they sign up. But what if they don't? What if my landing page sucks? What if it's not converting for me? Well, there's more than one avenue to take to get people to take the action that you ultimately want. I want to give a nice shout out to Tom Abbott watching from the UK tonight. Hope you are well. Tom, I'm glad that you're popping in and saying hi. So there's more than one way to arrive at this destination. So Facebook ads are kind of like the analogy I like to use here is imagine if you are driving to work and you want to take the highway. That's the fastest route. Sometimes the fastest route has a traffic jam. So if our fastest route to try and get traffic off of Facebook and onto our landing page is to use a traffic objective and send them over there, but what if our landing page isn't converting? That's a traffic jam. We're sending the traffic over there, but they get jammed up and they can't actually get to the end destination. They can't arrive at their destination because the landing page isn't converting. All of that traffic is traffic jammed up in there, and it's no good for anybody. So in that same analogy, well, on your way to work, you could pick a different route, right? You could take the long way. You could take the scenic way. You could take the back road. There are lots of different ways, but they're going to get you to the same end destination. Now, some of them might cost you more because, hey, if you're taking the long scenic route, it might cost you more in gas money to get there versus taking the highway might be a more direct route. But if your hands are tied because, hey, we've got a traffic jam on the highway, we might have to take a longer way around. There are different ways of getting there. So let's hypothetically say again that we are talking about this example. Let me scooch over here. Haha. All right. So if we're trying to send traffic off to your website to go and sign up for that webinar, and the traffic is running into a traffic jam because the landing page just isn't converting, well, let's scrap the landing page. Let's think outside the box. How else can we get people to the end destination of signing up for that webinar? Let's look at some other options. We could either go for a messenger destination and use a messenger marketing chatbot, or we could do the leads destination and collect their lead information right on the spot, have that connected to automatically to your email system, automatically send out an email with all of the sign-up details. Now, If you want to test out a messenger marketing chatbot, like I was mentioning at the beginning of this to the replay viewers, you can test one out right now. So if you want to get one of these lovely keychains in your hands, the little digital gal keychain, if you want to get one of those in your hands, you can go and talk to my BF, my bot friend, my messenger marketing bot friend. And you can do that by going to my Facebook page, thedigitalgal.com/Facebook. Wait, got that reversed. Facebook.com/thedigitalgal. And just type the keyword keychain on any of my Facebook posts from the Digital Gal. Has to be on that page. Can't be any of these other destinations that I have it sprinkled across the web thanks to Restream, because my chatbot is only living on my Facebook page. So you can interact via Messenger with my BF, my bot friend, and get a keychain. Well, you can do the same kind of thing with ads. You can send those ads. You can use an ad, run ads to a messenger destination, a messenger objective, where people will click and they will message your page. And when they're messaging your page, you can have your messenger marketing chatbot in there signing people up for that webinar right on the spot. And when I say chatbots, and if you haven't touched chatbots and you're a little intimidated by them, don't be. Literally, it's easier. Chatbots are easier than building a landing page on your website. I assure you. They are easier. You can create an account. You can go in. It's drag and drop. It's actually, let me even show you. Let me show you how easy this is. And this is, again, like we're thinking outside the box. I'm going to pull up a screen share here of exactly what it looks like when you get into chatting with my BF and getting into the background. So if I pull it up, it's a little slow because I'm live streaming. Let me make a flow here. New flow. Empty, and I will share screen. Test. I always name my things test so I remember to delete them after. Okay, let me screen share here. All right, so we can say, hey, want a keychain? And we can put into the button here and we can go, yes. All right, so where's that gonna go? Let's go to grab their mailing address. So we're going to use user input, and what is your mailing address? And then they can input it. It's that easy. You're just creating little drag and drops, little boxes. Where do they go to after when they've responded, next step, etc. So let me show you. That's how easy it is, just to drag, drop, set up little steps. But let's go into flows. I'm going to show you what the actual keychain one looks like. And let me go into, pull it up, and mailing address keychain. And I'll show you this flow here. I'll screen share. And screen share. So in here I can zoom right in. So if you go and you type in the word keychain on any of those posts, then it serves you, hey, you're here to claim a Digital Gal keychain, right? Tap that lovely Get Keychain button below. So you tap that button. It's going to double check to see, hey, do I already have an address on file for you? Because a lot of you have already gotten a Digital Gal sticker, or you've registered for one of my programs. And then it will pull in all of your information, say, hey, is this correct? You just go, yep, correct, boom, there, done. I send you a keychain. If I don't have that information from you, then I collect it, user input. All right, what's your address? What city? What state? What zip code? And then what country? And then I go, okay, is this correct? And done. I send you a keychain. I automate all of this. So that's an example of chatbots. Don't be, oh, Lindy, if I could just, come on the journey with me. I just want to bring you into the chatbot world. It might look a little intimidating, but they're essentially just like little Lego bricks of different colors. One is, I want to send you a text. That's a Lego brick. I want to get you to type something back to me. It's user input. That's a different Lego brick. I want to send you a PDF. That's a different Lego brick. And I can arrange them in any way that I want to. Any combination of them. It's infinite and it's creative and it's awesome. They seem a lot more complex than they really are. And when people actually get behind the scenes and see how easy it is to build them, they're like, well, why isn't everybody doing this? I'm like, I know, right? So how is that relevant? Well, let's pull it back here. So say we don't have a landing page and we want to get people to sign up for that webinar, or our landing page isn't converting. So our traffic objective not working so well for us. So maybe we just cut the traffic objective out of the equation altogether, and instead use the messages objective and send people into a chatbot where instead of collecting a mailing address, maybe we're just collecting their email address, and then from there we fire off the link to join the webinar at a certain time. So we're still doing lead capture. We're still capturing their information. We're just doing it through a different vehicle. We're not doing it through a traditional landing page. We're doing it through Messenger with the Messenger chatbot. Or we can go over and instead use the Facebook lead generation. So using a Facebook lead form. And what happens there is when somebody clicks on the ad, it opens a lead form instantly on the spot, and it pre-fills their name and pre-fills their email address that they use on Facebook. So a user doesn't really have to type in a whole bunch of information. If they don't have to go off to a different web page that's going to take some time to load, and then have to read through it and find the form and hit a bunch of buttons and submit. It basically just loads a form instantly. Their information's pre-filled. They just tap a button, submit their information to you, and then from there, you can have that email off. You can use their email address, email them off the instructions for the webinar or a calendar invite, or however you want to handle it. But the point of this that I'm showing you is that imagine you have one goal, and the goal is to try and get, for example, those webinar signups. And when it comes to Facebook ads, we don't have to do it in a traditional, okay, well, let's get them to click to a landing page and they can go sign up for the webinar. There are many different routes and many different avenues that we can use to get them to that end destination of signing up for that webinar. There's lots of different ways you can take it. Now, there are different costs associated with different objectives, and that's why I was using the example of when you're trying to take a different route to go, instead of taking the highway, if there's a traffic jam on the highway, you take the long way around, but it's going to cost you more in gas money. Same kind of idea with different objectives. So let me pop back in my screen share here, back on that objective screen, so I can show you, for example, some objectives are a little more costly. So when we have a traffic objective, it's usually not quite as expensive as, say, a conversion objective. A conversion objective means Facebook knows you want people to convert. You want them to add to cart, purchase, checkout, give you email. You're basically getting something of high value in return from your users. So Facebook wants to take their cut, so those cost a little bit more money. Traffic objectives are usually a little less money. If we go the other end of the scale down to awareness, where you've got brand awareness and reach, those are what I like to call cheap and cheerful. They don't cost that much, but you don't get as much data out of them, and you don't get as much engagement and activity. So therefore, you can't really retarget those people, and you're spending dollars on ads and then can't really retarget off of it, and what's the point? So there is a point to when you would use that, but for most of us, I would say the whole stay in your lane. You probably want to be hanging out over in that consideration column where you've got traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, and messages. And out of those, they're weighted a bit differently in cost. So I'd say engagement and video views, super cheap. Super, super, super cheap. Lead generation messages, more expensive because you're asking the user to do more. All right, so there's kind of like the little background on, let me pull this back up here. That's one of those. One of the hacks is there's more than one route to get to the same end destination, and you've got lots of different tools with Facebook ads in behind the scenes to be able to get there. So one of those hacks is to try a different objective and reconfigure your creative, try a different objective to try and get to that end destination. You may be surprised that you might be able to get people to do the thing, whatever the thing is, whatever your end goal is for that ad. You might be able to get them to do the thing cheaper in the long run, even though you might be choosing a more expensive vehicle to get them there in the upfront, so to speak. So that's one of them. All right, let's talk about another one. And thanks for everybody that's popping on. Let me know where you're tuning in from, how hot it is where you are, or how cool it is where you are, because I think we all just did like a musical chair shuffle on our weather. You can come take it back now, please. All right, let's talk about the 10% budget for testing. This is just a short, quick hack, but something that I think gets overlooked by people when you're trying Facebook ads. And these tips can be for anybody who is just starting out with Facebook ads, or somebody who has been doing ads forever and working in large volume, high-end spend, large brands, whatever. if you're not carving off, if you're not cutting off, clipping off just a teeny little bit of your budget to go and test something that you haven't tried before in Facebook ads, you're probably missing out. There's probably added value you could be squeezing out of one corner or another of Facebook ads. You just got to try. How many of you, hands up or drop in the comments, hands up if you have tried an instant experience ad? Probably not too many of you. But guess what? With Facebook's shopping, or Facebook has Facebook shops, Instagram shops, and Facebook is now putting a big push in behind integrating the shops features with the whole back end of their system with Commerce Manager. And Facebook is even incentivizing advertisers right now. I have one of my clients who has given a $2,500 credit to start promoting her shop on Facebook. So Facebook is really getting behind this. And with shops, you have there's different ad types that you can use, and shops play in really nice with instant experience ads. So instant experience ads were these things that were kind of sitting on a shelf collecting dust and not really getting anywhere for a long time. But now that Facebook is kind of like bringing shops front and center and putting a lot of weight and interest behind it, and they plug and play really, really beautifully with instant experience ad types, we're going to see ad costs fluctuate for that type of inventory. So by using instant experience ads, that's an extreme example. But change it up. Have you tried a video ad? Have you tried a static image ad? Have you tried a carousel ad? There are different types of ads that you can be trying. You can use the same objective that you chose, just try different ad types. And so by changing it up, not getting stuck in a rut, but changing it up and trying new things, testing is really important. But you might be testing something that you think, oh, I know this isn't going to work. Or I tested this last year. I tried it last year and it blew up on my face and it didn't work. Well, guess what? Facebook changes their algorithm all the time. They also favor certain things, certain ad types at different times, depending on, like I said, for example, right now, they're promoting Facebook shops. So if you have a Facebook shop and you have an ad running against that shop, it's probably going to do incredibly well right now compared to all of your other ad types. And that's just because Facebook is favoring it right now. It's the golden child. It's the thing that they want to really get some oomph behind, so Facebook is going to favor it. Now, if you aren't carving off a teeny snippet of your budget and testing the waters on these different ad types, then you're probably missing out. You're probably stuck in a rut, and your ad costs, you're going to be at the mercy of your ad costs on whatever objective you were trying, whatever ad creative you were trying, whatever avenue it is that you were trying. So I wouldn't say stop what you're doing and take all your money and run over and throw it into a different slot machine and try your luck. No, that's why carving off just a little bit of your budget, like 10% of that budget, carving that off and trying something that you haven't done before, even if you think it might not work, because things change with Facebook so often. We all know that. So it's worth testing. It's worth checking out. All right. So we've talked about carving off some budget for testing. We've talked about it'll show you your top 5 posts. So if you're in your Facebook page, if you have the Facebook business page, there's something called Insights. It'll give you your top 5 posts, and you can then click on See All, and it'll give you all of your posts. This is an example of the light colored orange bar there is your reach, how many people you reached. And then on the other side, you have engagement. So the blue is clicks, and then the whatever color that is, pinkish color, that's your engagement. So your reactions, so to speak. So now when it comes to reach, if there was paid advertising on any of these guys here, if there was paid advertising on that, there would be a darker orange bar instead of this regular light orange bar. So in your insights, that's all organic. That's just natural. You posted something on your Facebook page, and Facebook's algorithm picks it up and starts serving it around to people to test. I've used this analogy all the time. It's like a server taking a plate of appetizers, serving it out to a whole bunch of people who have already put their hand up and showed up at the party because they like your page. And if people are nibbling on it, sampling it, they're engaging on it, they're clicking, they're engaging. If they're nibbling on that appetizer, then the algorithm is going to continue serving it organically. As the second people stop engaging with it, stop nibbling on those appetizers, Facebook sends it back to the kitchen and it doesn't get circulated. No, they don't make any more. So what's happening here, on this side here, is that you can see certain posts have more engagement than others. And you can also see a correlation between posts that have a high amount of engagement versus and reach going kind of hand in hand versus posts that have very little engagement and very little reach. So how is this a tip or a hack for your ads? Well, you can look at when you have these outliers, and in this particular screenshot, there aren't any that are super standout, but if you have organic, and say we're tracking along here of anywhere between 100 and 200 people that we're reaching consistently. Well, and then if all of a sudden we had one that was reaching 500 people organically and it had a ton of engagement, that's a moment that we go, wait, hold up. What did you do there? What happened in that post? What did you say in that post? What type of post was it? Was it a video? Was it a static image? What happened? So once we take a look and when we pay attention to our organic, then we can see those outliers, those beautiful little moments where a post is getting a lot more attention. That's the type of post that we want to grab a hold of and either turn it into an ad by using an existing post, or we want to replicate that concept over in your ads, or we just want to pay attention to the content that people who have already put their hand up and said, I like this page, I want to come to this party more often, seeing what kind of content they want, not what kind of content you think they need, because I'm guilty of this too. I put content out there that I'm like, oh yeah, people are going to really like this. This is going to be amazing. I put that content out there and it's a flop. It just doesn't really do anything. And then I'll have something else that I'll just toss out there. I mean, when I made myself into a pizza using Snapcam, the Snapchat has a desktop application called Snapcam, and you can download it and you can use all of the different filters and you can turn yourself into random things. And when I turned myself into a pizza and put a post out on that, tons of engagement. I'm like, okay, clearly that's not what I thought was going to get engagement, but I'll run with it. So different types of content that you're putting out organically, this can act like your crystal ball. And if you're not paying attention to it, then what you're probably doing, I'll pull this screen down here while I finish this thought off. If you're not paying attention to that organic content, then what you are probably doing is putting out content you think is going to work and putting out ads that you think are great, but you're so hyper-focused on what you think and you're not open and paying attention to how is it being received. Not only how is it being received by the people who have already put their hand up and said, I like your page. How is it being received by Facebook's algorithm? Does the algorithm like you? Yes, Facebook is a popularity contest. Yes, that part sucks. But yes, it is driven by that algorithm. If the algorithm doesn't like your content, your ads sure aren't going to like your content. It's not going to perform as well. When we do our Facebook ads, we get a report card. We get ranked on the quality of the ad, we get ranked on the engagement of the ad, and we get ranked on the conversion of the ad. Is it achieving that end goal that we're trying to get to? And we get an above average, average, or below average score on that. Now, in order to get above average scores, you have to be serving content that the algorithm likes, and it's ranking a bazillion factors. We don't know. Facebook doesn't let us behind the curtain to see exactly what's ranking your content. However, have you noticed that we're now getting a brand new distribution score on not just on our let me go to my page and see if I can pull it up. Digital gal. We used to, thank you very much, Derek. I really appreciate that so much. We used to only get a ranking on our, like that report card. We started getting rankings on, I'm trying to pull up. Yes, I do have it. Okay, share. Here we go. We used to only get these distribution scores here on videos. But now Facebook is doing it on non-video content. And so they're doing it on all of your posts. So this distribution score, guess what? That's like a little window, a little hint into how the algorithm sees your content. So when we have, this is saying a 1.7 times higher distribution score, what that means is that this post since it was posted, and this was posted yesterday, so at 6:34 a.m. So I can't do the math in my head on how many hours that's been. But in that amount of time, this post is performing 1.7 times better than other posts that were posted at that same duration of time. Distribution scores have a time decay to them, so they will it's comparing that post against other posts of your own, how they performed at that exact same timestamp of when it was posted. So that number will keep changing throughout the day. Let's keep going down. This one's 2 times higher, and I don't have it on these videos. This is 1.4 times lower, and I don't have it on these guys. This one 1.7 times higher. So you can see, let's see, that was 1.1. So pay attention. I want you to be paying attention. Let me pull this up. Pay attention to these scores, to these numbers, to your organic, your reach, your engagement. Pay attention to these because this will be informing your ads. This is basically how the algorithm sees your content. And when you have a spike, when you have something that all of a sudden is like, oh, wow, that's performing and I didn't think that was going to perform that well, pay attention to it and then put on your ads hat and go, okay, how can I use that for advertising? Or how can I start shifting my content and changing it based on how people are consuming my content, on what's performing better and what's not? So, and yes, you still have to protect your brand. You still have to protect your like brand identity. That example I was giving of when I turned myself into a pizza and that performed extremely well. Well, I'm not going to start doing that for all of my ads and pushing that out because I don't want that hurting my brand. But it was fun to do, and it's neat to see that, okay, when you change things, when I change things up, so the way I interpret that for me isn't, okay, go turn myself into a pizza and put that in my ads. It's, oh, I did something that's a little bit different. You'll notice when I do live videos, at the very beginning of most videos, I try to do something. I was doing this at the beginning of this video where I was, hovering in close on these keychains. And then I pull out, because if I started every single video like this with my exact same background, same everything, the only thing that's different is my makeup and hair. If I started every single post like this that you see, you're going to start thinking they're the same thing over and over and over. You're going to start interacting with them less. And the more you're, the least, sorry, how do I say this? The first 3 seconds are crucial. If Facebook serves a piece of content to you organically and you don't interact with it, Facebook is going to demote it with the algorithm. It's going to get demoted for you so that you may not see my other content rank higher. So if I am putting out content constantly that looks identical to the last thing, that looks identical to the last thing, that looks identical to the last thing, eventually you're going to stop engaging with it. And it's an algorithm game. So paying attention to your organic, how well your organic content is performing, what you can do to change it up, what you can do, change up the different post types, the different content that you're putting out there. If you're putting out quotes all the time, stop putting out quotes. Get a person, put a person on your page. All sorts of different ways that you can change it up, but the whole point is you're trying to push and pull with the algorithm. You're trying to play the popularity contest game and get noticed by the algorithm. You want to get noticed by people who organically like you, and then you can then leverage whatever it is you did that work there, start leveraging that and start translating that into using those for ads. So that is the organic is your crystal ball. Check that off my list. And then tailoring your creative by placement and working on that above the fold part for text. So let me pull up one more screenshot for you here. And a big shout out to everybody who is tuning out and geeking out with me here on what in the ads is going on. I appreciate that you are here letting me geek out on Facebook ads, because I know it's not everybody's favorite topic, but I definitely, it's my passion. I'm kind of into it. All right, another screen share here. Here's an example of an ad. And this information that you have right up top here, this level easy, test your ads knowledge. That's what we call the text. That's your primary text. And that's the text that falls above the fold. So let me duplicate this. And let's play around with this a little bit. Sure, I'll throw that into the original campaign. And hopefully this will work out for me, because I know Facebook struggles a little bit while I'm live streaming. Duplicating. All right. So we've got content here. Just going to move this. There we go. And it's struggling to load. All right, so this is your primary text. And so when we are creating ads, this information here is your primary text. This is where you do your selling. There's a lot of debate on long form copy versus short form copy. And when we say the word copy, we mean the text. It's a marketing term for ad copy. It's the text that is, it's what your ad is actually saying. So we can have something longer in here. Like if I put in, let's go, I'll just throw in my bio because it's longer. And then you'll see it update in the preview here. Okay, so see here where it shows the preview. Let me see if I want to expand this, just this one. Awesome. All right, so in this example, we have 1, 2, 3 lines of text before it goes into the see more. That see more, if I click on that, then it expands it in its full glory where you can read everything. But this text up here, this primary text, this is what we call the above the fold text. Above the fold is, I guess, where did that even come from? I think that's older. Is that older marketing speak from back in the day with like direct mail marketing, where you open up a letter and there's information and it's above the fold of where it's folded to put in. I don't even know if that's traditionally where it comes from, but on landing pages we talk about it the same way. Above the fold, it's above the scroll, I guess you can say, where when you first land on a landing page, it's the first thing you see. It's usually the header, and it's any information you see before you have to scroll. The same kind of thing applies when it comes to your Facebook advertising. You have 1, 2, 3 little lines on the mobile newsfeed that are above the fold before somebody has to click see more. This is crucial, critical real estate for you to be able to convey what you need to say in that ad. So this is the type of stuff you need to be testing and changing and trying in your ads to change it up. And so if you have your ad copy that you have worked with a copywriter, or you've spent a lot of time trying to create copy that you think is wonderful, it doesn't do you much good if no one is clicking on that see more to see the rest of your ad copy. If they're not getting past those first 3 lines, it doesn't matter. Now, if I change this up and I go to the desktop newsfeed, we usually get 4 lines, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of above the fold. Other things to keep in mind is that that's all well and good, 4 lines of above the fold, but the majority of our ad traffic is coming from mobile. And when I say majority, not for every advertiser, but for most of us. And I would say when I say majority, we're talking 80 to 90% of that traffic is coming from mobile. So we really are looking at modeling everything off of your mobile newsfeed. This is the preview, and working off those 3 lines that are above the fold. This is just such, when it comes to ad hacks, you can use different, there are different, what do you call them? AI generators, copy generators. One of them is conversion.ai. Conversion.ai. Fabulous little tool. You can use that for helping you craft some ad copy. So let me go, I'll hop over there. Ugh. My whatchamacallit, Chrome is struggling. Well, I have conversion.ai. Well, I'm live streaming. So I'm going to pop over there. I'll do a quick little screen share as soon as I'm logged in on here and show you how you can be taking your above the fold copy and working it in different ways, and just trying different things. So let me go Facebook ad headline. All right, so I'm going to screen share again. And Lindy, newspaper term. Thank you, because newspapers are folded. So on your front page, I'm going to have to research and find out where it officially came from, the above the fold marketing speak. All right, so let's make a Facebook ads headline. Company or product name, the Digital Gal. Product description, get a swift, let's go, learn Facebook ads with a swift kick in the ads, including the 4-week Facebook ads boot camp kicking off again this August. It is, by the way, if you want to learn Facebook ads, that's a great way to do it. Hang out with host Amanda Robinson, the Digital Gal. All right, so let's change this to fun. I'm going to hit generate AI content. We're just trying to get a Facebook ads headline out of this. And then you can see that it has spit out 3 different options for me as far as Facebook ad headlines go. So this is 2016's most popular Facebook training. Jarvis, go home, you're drunk. These are different inspirations on how you can take this information and work it into a headline for you. There's also, instead of just Facebook headline, I'm going to pull this back up and go into, I'm just pulling up the other thing before I screen share. Let me go into Facebook primary text. I'm doing this because it retains some of, there we go. It retains old information. So if I have client information in there, I have to like purge it out first. So again, let's make Facebook ad primary text. So the digital gal, let me just use that bio again, because I just have, it's a bulk of text already pre-saved and excited. Generate AI content. It's going to give me 3 options. Wait for it. Wait for it. There. So 1, 2, 3 different options. So I can take this information, but here's the real key, is that this could be great. These could be awesome. But keep in mind, it's whatever information is at that very top is the above the fold information, and that's the most critical part for getting people to continue reading and continue engaging the rest of the way with your ad. So do I want the very top to be Facebook ads expert Amanda Robinson, or do I want it to be Amanda Robinson is the digital gal, or how would you like to get more leads, sales, and signups for your business? That third one has a little more bite to it, a little more excitement to it. So let me pull myself back up here. So that above the fold information, play with it, test it out, try different things, because that really can have a massive, big influence on the success of your ads. And I think it's just underestimated. People don't pay enough attention to it when it comes to their Facebook ads. All right, that's the above the fold. Check that off the list. And then last but not least is tailoring your ad creative by placement. I'm not going to do a screen share on this. I have lots of other trainings and things on this. I just want to have a quick little chat about this. When you go to create an ad in Facebook, we're not talking boosting posts. We're talking about using Facebook's Ads Manager, going in there, picking an objective, creating an ad set, and going in and making an ad, building an ad from scratch. You have the opportunity to edit your ads by placement. So it's still creating it's technically one ad. And it's one ad feeding off one budget, feeding off one bunch of settings, targeting the same group of people, but your ad is going to show up in a whole bunch of different places. So different placements, for example, are things like your ad showing up in the mobile news feed on an iOS device, your ad showing up in Facebook Marketplace on desktop, your ad showing up in the audience network on an app while somebody is playing Scrabble. Those are different examples of different places that your ads can be showing up. So there's different placements. But when you take one single image, say you have a square image, and you're trying to jam that square image into stories and into feeds and into Marketplace and into all of those different places, it doesn't look so good. It doesn't do that ad justice. It's okay. It's all right. It's mediocre. But when we're competing head to head for attention span, we got to be better than mediocre now. Facebook advertising isn't as easy as it used to be, and we do need to compete for those attention spans. And if we're going to have our ads showing up in all those multiple placements, we want to have it look good. So how do we make it look good? You can tailor your creative by placement right within creating one single ad. So you can create different variations of your images. You can convert your images into stories, vertical images. You can have your horizontal images. You can have square images. You can use the different templates that Facebook has already built in. So say you have just a static image, you can drop it into one of Facebook's templates to make an animated stories image. So there's all sorts of things that you can do in behind the scenes, but I think one of the biggest, I'm calling it an ads hack, because not enough people know the feature is there, and not enough people are exercising using that feature to tailor their ad creative by placement. And it doesn't necessarily mean going in and creating, going and making 10 different versions of your ad creative. Actually, I can do a quick screen share on what this looks like. Let's go share my screen here, view more variations. All these different placements as soon as this loads, because it takes a second. There we go. So you can see that, especially when we get into the stories area, It's not taking up the full screen. The text that's overlaid over top of these stories is like meh. Like you could really represent that a lot better. This creative actually works okay across multiple different areas, but it's the more you can tailor your creative by the different placements that you have available. I'm just showing you that to show you there's lots of other placements there. The more powerful your ads can be, the better they can perform. So what was that website again, Lindy? It's conversion.ai. Conversion. I do have an affiliate link for that, but I'll go dig it up. I'll drop it in the comments after for everybody. So these are tips that I'm gonna recap those. These are just little tips. I mean, it's kind of like a little smorgasbord, a little medley of all these tiny little things. There's so many things you can be doing that can improve the performance of your ads, but I'd say the majority of it, 90% of it, comes down to testing. So trying something you probably haven't tried before, or tweaking and doing something with a bit of a different direction than you're used to. So let's recap. Carve off about 10% of your budget to use for testing, to try something that maybe you've proven in the past hasn't worked well for you. Try it again, because the algorithm changes constantly. It's like a little kid when you serve a kid some kind of flavor, they're like, oh, they hate that, they hate Brussels sprouts or whatever it is, but as they grow up and as they grow older, their tastes change, and you can serve that same dish and all of a sudden they love it. Same thing kind of happens with the algorithm, where one day, 1 year, the algorithm really isn't favoring that ad type, it's not performing well, and it's kind of tanking, and it's very frustrating, so you discontinue using it. But then fast forward another year, if you go back and sample it again, all of a sudden you might realize, oh, wait a second, we are getting 7 cents a click over here, and I'm getting 35 cents a click over here on my regular ads. Don't drop everything and put all of your money into, one avenue. But if you're testing, you can sometimes uncover those little gems of like, what? 7 cents? Yeah, way better than 35 cents, or way better than 85 cents on what I'm paying with the rising ad costs I'm seeing in other avenues. Carve off some budget, do some testing with it. Use your organic as your crystal ball. So organic content is going to inform the performance of your ads if you're paying attention. There is a link between the two of them. If you're paying attention to the type of content that organically, naturally is outperforming your other content, it's also going to outperform when it comes to ads. Try different objectives. So don't get stuck trying to jam a square peg in a round hole. So if the traffic objective isn't working for you, and sending that traffic off to your landing page isn't working for you, think outside the box. There are other objectives you can use, other avenues, other ways that you can creatively also achieve the same end goal, using different tools within Facebook. And then pay attention to your above the fold ad copy, to the text, and then tailor your ad creative based on placement. You need to those are just 5, actually, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Those are just 5 examples of different things that you can do to influence the cost of your ads. I think you should get in there and try it out. All right, so wrapping this up here, again, if you want to use the super secret keyword, if you're just tuning in now, if you want to get your hands on one of these little Digital Gal keychains, you can head over to facebook.com/thedigitalgal, so my Digital Gal Facebook page. Type in the super secret keyword keychain on any post on my Facebook page. If you're doing it on any of the other places where this content is sprinkled out, it won't work. So if you're in one of my Facebook groups, it won't work. If you're over on YouTube, it won't work. If you're on my Facebook page, it's going to work, and I'll get you a keychain. Tomorrow, if you want to tune into tomorrow's video marketing show, that's at 1:00 p.m. Pacific, I have a nice fancy little segment that I'm going to be talking about not underestimating the power of your live replays. So I'm live right now. I currently have, at this exact moment right now, I can see I've got 6 people tuning in live from my Facebook page. That's cool. But the replays, so it's not just 6 people, 6 views, okay. When this broadcast ends, the replay is where all that magic is, and the replay is basically like a giant iceberg. We're only seeing, when you're live, you're only just seeing just the tip that's visible, but there's a massive iceberg down below of your video views and your reach and what you can do with that. So if you want to learn more about that, you're going to want to watch tomorrow's show, the video marketing show, 1:00 p.m. Pacific, over here on the Digital Gals Facebook page. In the meantime, I hope that everybody is staying cool. I hope that I hope this heat dome is breaking for you, and I hope that for my friends down in the southern states, I hope that the rain and this crazy weather clears up and that you can have a fantastic weekend. This technically today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Canada Day. I will not be celebrating Canada Day along with a lot of other Canadians right now, just in observance of what's happened with the residential schools. And they're asking, basically Canada needs to be humble right now, and Canada needs to observe and recognize, not celebrate Canada, but we need to have a minute to reflect. So I will not be celebrating tomorrow for Canada Day. I will be doing other things, but I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. If it's a long weekend for you, stay safe, play safe, and I will either see you tomorrow on tomorrow's broadcast, or I'll see you around. So thanks for tuning in. This was What in the Ads is Going On. I am Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal, and I love geeking out with you on Facebook ads. I'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.